Hello my friends, Dr. Mandell here. After the age of 60, something happens that many people don't even realize. Our muscles begin to shrink. This process is called sarcopenia, and if we don't do something about it, it will lead to weakness, fatigue, poor balance, and even greater risk of falls and fractures. Most people have been told their entire lives that the egg is the ultimate protein powerhouse, the gold standard of nutrition, the one food you can always count on for building muscle, repairing tissue, and fueling energy. But what if I told you there is another food hidden in plain sight that delivers even more protein than an egg, and it comes straight from the earth, not from an animal? For decades, nutrition science has praised eggs for their 6 to 7 grams of protein. And yes, it's true, eggs are highly bioavailable, meaning your body can absorb their amino acids efficiently. But one single cup of lentils gives you around 18 grams of protein, nearly triple what one egg contains, and the world barely talks about it. This is not only shocking, it's life-changing, because after the age of 60, muscle loss known as sarcopenia begins to steal our strength, our independence, and our quality of life. And if we don't fight back with enough protein, we set ourselves up for weakness, fatigue, and frailty. Think about this: every year after 60, you lose up to 1% of your muscle mass. And if you don't take action over the course of a decade, you could lose 10% or more, which is the difference between standing tall and needing a cane, between walking confidently and being at risk for a devastating fall. And falls are not just accidents. They are the second leading cause of accidental injury death worldwide in older adults. Now imagine if one of the most affordable, accessible foods, lentils, could protect you from that fate simply by delivering more protein than eggs, more fuel for your muscles, more amino acids for your recovery, and more nutrients for your entire body. This is not marketing hype, this is science, and science shows that lentils are one of the most protein-dense plant foods on the planet. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. When you compare protein quality, you often hear the argument that plant proteins are incomplete or less useful. But the truth is, when you eat lentils alongside simple foods like rice, vegetables, or nuts, you achieve a full spectrum of essential amino acids, and your body uses them just as effectively as animal protein. In fact, a 2019 study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that plant proteins, when consumed in sufficient amounts, support muscle protein synthesis and muscle mass maintenance as effectively as animal proteins, especially in older adults. This means you can protect your muscles, your bones, and your health without relying solely on animal products. And the key is getting enough protein, and lentils make that not only possible, but simple. Picture this for a moment. One egg has 6 grams of protein, but 1 cup of lentils has 18 grams, plus 0 cholesterol, almost no fat, and packed with fiber, vitamins, and minerals that eggs simply can't deliver. Fiber alone is a game changer because while eggs contain none, lentils give you around 15 grams of fiber in that same 1 cup serving, supporting digestion, stabilizing blood sugar, and feeding the healthy bacteria in your gut, which science now calls your second brain. That means when you eat lentils, you're not only fueling your muscles, you're calming your inflammation, balancing your mood, and lowering your risk of chronic disease. Can the egg do all of that? No, it cannot. And yet the world continues to overlook lentils, treating them as poor man's food, as a side dish, as something less glamorous than a steak or an egg. But in reality, lentils have been sustaining civilizations for thousands of years. Ancient cultures from India to the Mediterranean relied on lentils as a staple food, not because they were cheap, but because they were powerful. And modern science is finally catching up to what they always knew. A meta-analysis published in Nutrients in 2021 confirmed that legumes like lentils improve satiety, reduce risk of obesity, and lower LDL cholesterol while still delivering the protein we desperately need. And here's the hidden gem: unlike eggs, which provide protein but also cholesterol and saturated fat, lentils protect your heart as they fuel your muscles, giving you double the benefit in a single meal. Now let's talk numbers that will make you rethink everything. Imagine you need 60 grams of protein a day to maintain muscle after 60, which is actually a conservative estimate because some experts recommend 1.2 grams per kilogram of body weight. To get 60 grams of protein from eggs, you'd need to eat about 9 to 10 eggs. That also means consuming around 800 calories and more than 1,800 milligrams of cholesterol, which is nearly twice the daily recommended limit. But if you wanted the same 60 grams of protein from lentils, you'd only need about 3.5 cups cooked, which is fewer calories, 0 cholesterol, much more fiber, and an army of micronutrients supporting your health, which one sounds like a better long-term strategy to you. The truth is, lentils are the underdog, the quiet giant in the world of nutrition. They don't have fancy commercials, they don't have billion-dollar industries lobbying for them, but they are sitting quietly on grocery store shelves, waiting for people to discover their power. And what's more powerful than a food that gives you more protein than eggs, fuels your muscles, supports your heart, feeds your gut, and does it all for pennies per serving? That's not just food, that's medicine, that's prevention, that's strength in its purest form. Scientists warn that by 2050, 1 in 6 people worldwide will be over 60, which means sarcopenia will become one of the biggest health challenges of our time, but it doesn't have to be a crisis. We already have the solution in front of us, a solution that is sustainable, affordable, and scientifically proven. Lentils are not just an alternative to eggs, they are a superior tool for protecting your muscles, your independence, and your life as you age. Every time you choose lentils, you're choosing strength over weakness, energy over fatigue, vitality over decline. So the next time someone tells you eggs are the ultimate protein source, you can tell them the truth that there is a humble food that gives you more, that gives you better, that gives you longevity, and that food is lentils. If you are over 60 and you want to fight muscle loss naturally, if you want to keep walking strong, climbing stairs, and living fully, don't just crack an egg, start cooking lentils. They're the protein powerhouse that science proves can change the way you age, and the sooner you embrace them, the stronger your future will be. After the age of 60, something begins to happen inside the body that most people never see, never feel, until one day they wake up weaker, slower, and more fragile than they were just a year before. This silent thief is called sarcopenia, the gradual and relentless loss of muscle mass, and it affects nearly everyone as they age. Scientists estimate that adults over 60 can lose up to 1% of their muscle every single year, and if nothing is done, by the time a person reaches their 70s or 80s, they may have lost more than a quarter of the strength they once had. This isn't just about lifting weights or looking fit. This is about independence, about balance, about life itself. Because muscle is not cosmetic, it is survival. Think about the last time you climbed a flight of stairs, carried groceries, or simply got up from a chair. All of these movements require muscle, and as muscle fades, so does freedom. The National Institutes of Health warns that sarcopenia is directly linked to falls, fractures, hospitalization, and even premature death, yet many people ignore it until it is too late. And here is the shocking truth: our bodies become less efficient at building and maintaining muscle after 60, even if we eat the same foods we did at 30 or 40. The process of turning protein into muscle is called muscle protein synthesis, and research shows that in older adults, the body resists this process almost as if the muscles have grown deaf to the signal of protein. This phenomenon is known as anabolic resistance. Anabolic resistance means that the very same meal that once fueled muscle growth in your youth may not be enough to protect you in later years. Imagine eating a high-protein meal and still not getting the strength benefits you once did. That's the cruel reality of aging biology. A 2013 study in the Journal of Nutrition revealed that older adults require up to 40 grams of high-quality protein in a meal to stimulate the same muscle growth that younger adults achieve with just 20 grams. That's double the requirement, double the effort, just to maintain what you already have. This is why people over 60 need more protein, not less, and yet so many reduce their protein intake with age, thinking smaller meals or lighter diets are healthier, when in truth they are accelerating their own muscle decline. Now let's look at the consequences. When muscle disappears, metabolism slows, fat increases, insulin sensitivity drops, and the risk of type 2 diabetes skyrockets. Studies show that sarcopenia is not just about weakness, it is about disease, because muscle is a metabolic organ, burning glucose, storing amino acids, and regulating hormones that keep the body in balance. Lose muscle, and you don't just lose strength, you lose your body's natural defense system against chronic illness. The American Journal of Medicine found that older adults with higher muscle mass had a significantly lower risk of death than those with less, even when controlling for body fat. In other words, muscle is more predictive of longevity than weight alone, and protein is the raw material you need to preserve it. But here's the twist: it's not just the quantity of protein that matters, it's the consistency. The body doesn't store protein the way it stores fat or carbohydrates. You can't binge protein once a week and expect to maintain muscle. You need to feed your body regularly, meal after meal, day after day, to keep the signal of muscle protein synthesis alive. That's why spreading protein evenly across breakfast, lunch, and dinner has been shown to be more effective in preserving muscle than eating it all at once. A groundbreaking study from the University of Texas demonstrated that older adults who consumed balanced protein throughout the day built more muscle than those who ate most of their protein at dinner, even when total protein intake was the same. This means timing is everything, and neglecting breakfast protein is one of the biggest mistakes older adults make. Now imagine what this means in real life. A man in his 60s eats toast and coffee in the morning, a sandwich with minimal meat for lunch, and then piles his protein into dinner. He thinks he is eating well, but his muscles are starving for protein during the day, and by the time he floods them at night, they can no longer respond efficiently. Day after day, year after year, his muscles shrink, his strength fades, and one day a simple slip on the stairs ends in a hip fracture that changes his life forever. Contrast that with the person who makes protein a priority at every meal: Greek yogurt with fruit in the morning, a lentil salad at lunch, a balanced dinner with beans, fish, or chicken. That person is sending a constant, clear signal to their muscles: grow, repair, stay strong. And that difference, though invisible at first, becomes monumental over a decade. Protein is not just about preventing muscle loss, it is about extending health span, the years of life lived in strength and vitality, not weakness and decline. The World Health Organization reports that sarcopenia is now recognized as a major public health concern, with nearly 50 million people worldwide already affected, and that number expected to rise to over 200 million in the next 3 decades. Yet we already know the solution: adequate, consistent protein intake combined with resistance exercise. And here is the most empowering truth of all: muscle responds at any age. Studies show that even people in their 80s and 90s can build muscle if given enough protein and the right training stimulus. It is never too late to fight back, but it requires awareness, it requires action, and it requires seeing protein not as optional but as medicine. So the message is clear: if you are over 60, you cannot afford to treat protein casually. Your body demands more of it, your muscles crave it, and your life depends on it. The difference between thriving in your later years and simply surviving often comes down to one question: are you giving your body enough high-quality protein every single day to overcome anabolic resistance and protect your muscles? If the answer is yes, you are investing in strength, balance, independence, and years of active living. If the answer is no, the silent thief of sarcopenia will take more from you than you ever imagined. Protein is not just food, it is the foundation of resilience, the currency of life, and the weapon you must use to fight the natural decline of aging. And when you understand this, when you truly grasp that your body after 60 needs more protein, not less, you will never look at your meals the same way again. Every bite is a choice: choose to feed weakness or choose to feed strength. The science is clear, the evidence is overwhelming, and the future of your health depends on the choice you make today. When most people think about protein, they see it as a single nutrient, a number on a nutrition label, a way to fuel their muscles, and nothing more. But the truth is far greater, far deeper, because the food you choose for protein can either harm you slowly or heal you completely. Eggs may give you protein, yes, but they come with cholesterol, saturated fat, and zero fiber. Lentils, on the other hand, don't just give you more protein, they give you an entire arsenal of nutrients that protect every system in your body. And once you understand what lentils truly offer, you will never underestimate this food again. Inside a single cup of cooked lentils lie just 18 grams of protein, but 15 grams of dietary fiber, and fiber is one of the most powerful medicines nature has ever created. Fiber feeds the trillions of bacteria in your gut, your microbiome, which scientists now call your hidden organ because it controls immunity, hormones, even mood. A study published in Nature revealed that the diversity of gut bacteria is directly linked to longevity, and lentils provide the exact prebiotic fuel these bacteria need to thrive. Eggs cannot do this because eggs contain no fiber at all. Every time you eat lentils, you are not just feeding yourself, you are feeding an entire universe of microbes that in return protect your health. Lentils are also rich in iron, the mineral that carries oxygen to every cell in your body. Without iron, you are weak, fatigued, and short of breath, yet millions of older adults suffer from iron deficiency anemia without realizing it. Eggs contain some iron, but lentils give you nearly 7 milligrams per cup, almost 40% of your daily needs. And here's the shocking fact: according to the World Health Organization, iron deficiency is the most common nutritional disorder in the world, affecting more than 2 billion people. Choosing lentils regularly can mean the difference between exhaustion and energy, between weakness and vitality. But lentils don't stop there. They are loaded with folate, a B vitamin critical for brain health, nerve function, and DNA repair. 1 cup gives you about 90% of your daily folate requirement. Folate deficiency is strongly linked to memory decline, depression, and even dementia. In fact, a 2022 study published in Frontiers in Aging Neuroscience found that low folate levels in older adults were associated with nearly a 3-fold higher risk of developing Alzheimer's disease. Now imagine protecting your brain simply by eating more lentils: affordable, accessible, powerful. Magnesium is another hidden treasure inside lentils, about 70 milligrams per cup. And magnesium is a mineral that calms the nervous system, regulates blood sugar, and keeps your heart rhythm steady. Yet according to the National Institutes of Health, nearly half of Americans are deficient in magnesium. This is no small issue because magnesium deficiency is linked to higher risk of type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, and sudden cardiac death. Lentils, once again, deliver what your body desperately needs. And then there is potassium, 70-30 milligrams in just 1 cup. Potassium is the mineral that balances sodium in your body, keeping blood pressure in check and protecting your arteries from damage. The American Heart Association has declared potassium one of the most underconsumed nutrients in the modern diet, and low potassium is directly tied to strokes and heart disease. Eggs, by comparison, contain less than 70 milligrams of potassium each, which one sounds like the food your heart is begging for. What makes all of this even more powerful is how these nutrients interact. Fiber from lentils lowers cholesterol, iron boosts oxygen delivery, folate protects the brain, magnesium steadies the heart, potassium regulates blood pressure, and protein preserves your muscles. It's a symphony of nutrition, every component working together to defend your body against aging and disease. Eggs can only play one note in that symphony, protein, but lentils play the entire orchestra. Science confirms what ancient cultures always knew: lentils are a food of life. Archaeologists have found evidence of lentil cultivation dating back 9,000 years, and for good reason. They sustain civilizations because they nourish not just the body, but the future of generations. Today, modern research echoes that wisdom. A meta-analysis published in the British Journal of Nutrition found that diets rich in legumes, including lentils, reduce the risk of heart disease by 10% and stroke by 14%. Another study from the Journal of the American College of Nutrition showed that people who eat legumes 4 times a week have a 22% lower risk of diabetes. Now let's connect this back to muscle health after 60. When you eat lentils, you are not just getting protein to fight sarcopenia, you are also stabilizing blood sugar, reducing inflammation, and protecting your cardiovascular system, all of which are essential for staying strong and mobile as you age. High blood sugar damages muscle proteins. Chronic inflammation breaks down muscle tissue. Poor circulation starves muscles of oxygen. Lentils counteract all of these threats, making them more than just a protein source. They are muscle protectors from every angle. And here's a detail that should shock you. Eggs contain dietary cholesterol around 186 milligrams each, and while dietary cholesterol doesn't impact everyone the same way, research shows that in many older adults it can raise LDL cholesterol and increase heart disease risk. Lentils, by contrast, contain zero cholesterol, zero saturated fat, and actually help lower LDL because of their soluble fiber. So while eggs may build muscle, they may simultaneously put your heart at risk, but lentils build muscle and heal the heart at the same time. That is the difference between food that only nourishes and food that truly heals. Think about how simple it is to add lentils to your life. A bowl of lentil soup, a lentil and vegetable salad, even lentil patties that replace processed meat. Each serving gives you more protein than eggs, more nutrients than most animal foods, and protection that touches every part of your body. You don't need expensive supplements, you don't need miracle pills, you need lentils. They are proof that the simplest foods can be the most powerful medicine. So here is the truth no one tells you. Protein alone is not enough. If you want to age strong, if you want to protect your brain, your heart, your muscles, and your future, you need more than grams of protein. You need the package that delivers everything together. Lentils are that package. They are not just food, they are prevention. They are not just calories, they are longevity. They are not just fuel, they are protection against the very diseases that rob people of their health after 60. And once you see this clearly, once you realize that every cup of lentils is more than a meal, it is a shield against decline, you will never look at them the same way again. Eggs may have the reputation, but lentils have the science, the power, and the truth on their side. Eat them often, eat them proudly, and know that with every bite you are investing in strength, in independence, and in the possibility of living not just longer, but